Hey guys, it's Kate. I am making a video right now to tell you about the Royal High Valentines story contest for the Fountain Stories. I'm going to answer a ton of info, so make sure to watch the whole video. And yeah, excuse my mess right now. I realize that my makeup and my hats are in my bedroom right now, and my son's sleeping in there. So, yeah, just bear with me. But say hello to Ryuk. He's here. And also, Baby Yoda will be helping me today. Powered by Baby Yoda. Anyways, okay, so I'm showing you my screen right here. This is the actual Google form that I will post a link on, and I'll give you the times at the end of the video because I need to get through the rules first. I want to make sure that everyone who enters is following the rules, because I would really hate if a lot of the entries are done correctly and they don't get counted, so you wasted your time, or it takes the spot of a spot that someone who did it correctly could have had, because there's a limited amount of spots for these videos. So bear with me. I know it's going to be a little long. You could just wait to read the form the day of, but I figure some people would like to know ahead. And also, I know some people do better with like auditory learning, so it might help you more if I'm reading this out loud. So bear with me. It's kind of long, but we'll get through it. So this is the actual form. It's closed right now. I'm going to read it with you. So it says, are you an aspiring writer who wants to be featured in one of the Fountain Stories? Submit your Valentine's story idea, but make sure to read the instructions and disclaimer below first. There may be anywhere from 8 to 20 stories picked, and those players will receive a special in-game writer's badge, a rare writer's bracelet accessory, your name credited in game with your story, and recognition in the community. Now, in the past, there was never like a physical prize. For Christmas, we did Halos, but that was, you know, that wasn't the standard. It was more just like a special gift, and we were gonna see from there how the community responded to that, if we wanted to do it in the future. And based on the response we got, it just felt like there should be something separate for that prize. Now this prize, the bracelet accessory, has already been made, and it has cute little charms on it. One of them is a writing charm, and yeah, and it was made by one of the developers, I think Ready or Jam Jam, I think one of them did that. And yeah, it's really cute and kind of elegant but simple, and I think you guys are really gonna like it if you're interested, and if you like to write. But this accessory will not be tradable. So yeah, so that's some information on that. And this will be the only way to get that accessory as well. So where did we leave off? Okay, the form will only, rare, where did we leave off? Okay, we left off at a rare writer's bracelet accessory. And your name will also be credited in game with your story. So everyone who plays Royal High, if you have friends that play Royal High and they use the fountain and they get your story, they're going to see your name on there. You could even show your parents or whoever. And also you'll have recognition in the community, because I will be making a Twitter or Instagram post with the winners' names on there. The form will only accept 270 max submissions through 2 separate time slots, and only 1 entry allowed per writer. So the reason for that is that more people get a chance, because it fills up fast. Usually these contests will fill up within the first 10 minutes. All those spots will be taken. Sometimes it's been even less, and that was before people knew that there was any prize attached to it. So have your stuff ready to go, ready to copy and paste into there, because you need to submit it into this document, not sending your own PDF or your own Word doc. So have your thing in a separate window ready to copy and paste into it, because it goes fast. And the reason that there's 2 separate time slots is because at first, since I'm in the US on the West Coast, I originally, the easiest time for me, I would do, but then other people who were like in Europe or parts of Asia and other areas wanted to do it too. So I tried to find like a middle ground area of Europe that's really close to Asia, that would work for both. And I'll share those times later. So, yeah, so one per person. Generally, I would prefer that you write your story alone, but it's okay if you have someone read it for you, like a parent, a sibling. Um, it's okay if you write it with one other person, only one, but I would prefer that that doesn't happen too often, because if I am noticing that everyone's writing it with someone else, I might have to take that rule back. But for now, for this one, it's okay, but I would prefer you do it by yourself. So, moving on. The first submission period will be open on January 15th, which is this Friday, at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That might also be listed under Pacific Daytime, I think. And that's in the USA West Coast, and that will be till it reaches 135 entries. Remember, that's going to go really fast. I could imagine it under 10 minutes being filled, possibly. And it will close immediately afterwards. So once that is filled up, it's closing. You won't be able to enter again. Now, the second time period, let me scroll down. Okay, so if you see here, the second submission period will be open on January 16th, which is this Saturday, at 8 p.m. Now, that's Eastern European summertime. And I believe that was around like the Greece area, like the far part of Europe that was really close to Asia and like North Africa. So, Eastern European summertime, not to be confused with Eastern Standard Time, which is in the US. This is not that. This is not the US EST time. So make sure to look that up on Google to make sure with your time how these are. And that's also going to be till it reaches 135 entries and will close immediately after, okay? If you're unfamiliar with the time zones, on the actual link I post, it's the timezoneconverter.com, but you can use whatever. Just make sure, probably one of the top few ones, so it's correct. Your phone might even have a conversion thing on there. Now, here are the disclaimers. Winning stories will be featured in the Royal High Fountain. Winning stories picked may be edited by Kateka 22, which is me, to best fit the game. Winning stories do not receive a Halo prize, but will receive a rare bracelet, a rare Rider's badge and game. I already discussed that with you guys, so I'm going to skip that over. And also, on top of those things and recognition and everything, you may also include your name, one of your OC characters' names, a favorite YouTuber name, your favorite RH dev or designer associated person name, etc., into a story if you so choose, which will make the story uniquely yours and more exciting for you to write or for others to see. Up to you totally, but you don't have to include that. Now, here are the rules. Now, this is really important. If you don't follow the rules, it'll be disqualified. How I go through is that the responses will send to me in like an Excel sheet, but the Google version of that, and Google Sheets, and so it'll have a list, and I take the time to go through all of them. But immediately I'll know if I look at the result options. If someone didn't do enough, that's an immediate disqualification. Also, if I'm getting tagged in stories, that's an immediate disqualification too. But anyways, I'll go over these rules. So your story must follow the format below, which I'll read after the rules. Stories not following the format will not be considered. So if you do not follow this format, you will be taking the spot from someone else who would. So please do not do that, because it'll be disqualified. Your story must be Valentine's themed only, because remember, it's a Valentine's Halo. To use for the month of February. Please do not mention the topic of dating or any profanities that would be a problem with Roblox rules. I know dating is a big part of Valentine's Day, but I won't be choosing ones that mention going on a date, etc. Unless if it's like friendship, because we want to follow the Roblox rules, especially for those who are underage. And number 3, your story lead-up must be 3 to 5 sentences. Now, that's the introduction part of your story. Your story multiple choice must be in the form of a short answer, less than 1 sentence. Your story results must have 2 options minimum per letter from the multiple choice, but 3 to 4 preferred. You can choose if an option has the result of diamond loss, diamond gain, experience gain, or nothing occurs. You may also include a Halo option for result, which may or may not be used. Now, you want to have variety with this. If you have a story where every single option is good or every single option is bad, then I won't be picking that story because it won't be varied enough for players, because we don't want always good or always bad to happen to a player. We want a good variety. Um, so let's see. The next thing, if you include your name or a friend's name in your story, please only include up to 2 names in a single story result. So we don't want to hear, you walk up to your friends, Jane, Jill, Bob, Ricky, Ricardo, and Tommy. No, 1 or 2 friends max in there. We don't want a bunch of names in there. Um, that's my preference personally, and I know it'll be easier for the reader that way too. And if you do include their name, please do not include any like full names, and also do not include like numbers or underscores if that's in their username. Just use the part that's like the word, not the numbers or characters. Okay, number 7. You must include a minimum of 4 story result options with your choices. So you have to have an A, B, C, D option for the choices. If you've been to the fountain, you've seen this before. If you don't, that would be a disqualification. I have seen a few ones entered where only A, B, C are done, and someone forgot to do D, and sadly I had to disqualify that right away and move on to the next. So please do not do that. Um, also, all story results may be edited or have added outcomes written by me, and you know, that might happen, but generally I try to stick to what you put. Um, and I may even ask you if I need one more option and I feel like I can't copy your writing style as well. Um, then I might even contact you personally and ask you if you could write one more result, because then it'll kind of flow better. Um, Number 8, you may only submit 1 story per person, which we already discussed. Number 9, your story must not be posted publicly on any social media site. If you have done so, then your submission will be disqualified. Now, if you've done that already, delete it now. But starting once this opens, anything that I see, if when I go to tag the winners online, I'm gonna see your profile, and if I see that your story is in your profile, then it'll be a disqualification and it's going to have to go to someone else. The reason being that we don't want players to know all the results of the story. Part of that is, at least initially, we don't want that, because we want, it to be a surprise for what happens, so that there's some excitement in that, and also so that it remains fair. And that goes throughout the month of February. If you post it and you're a winner, then it would be disqualified and removed from the game. If the winners have already been announced, then you could post your story if it wasn't a winning story. If you wanted to share it so that the community can enjoy it and see some of your work, that's fine. But that's only if it's after I announce the winners. So say like February 1st, February 2nd, and if you're not a winner. If you're a winner, remember, you get disqualified if you share your results. Okay, so I know that was a whirlwind. Bear with me, we're getting there. So here's an example, because I know that sounded like a lot, and so I'm going to give you an actual example of like a little tiny, I wrote this really fast, so excuse the quality and grammar possibly. So generic story format example. So your lead up, this is your introduction. So this is one of the areas where a lot of people get caught in, and if it's easy enough to fix, I'll fix it, but if it's not easy enough to fix, then that is like a pretty quick disqualifier. When you're writing your lead up, you don't want to say you drop coins in the fountain, because we don't do that anymore in the beginning. You don't drop diamonds in the, sorry, I said coins. You don't drop diamonds in the fountain initially anymore. So that doesn't fit into it. Occasionally I've fixed it, but please do not write that. So here's my example of something you could say. After wishing on the fountain, you see pieces of a Teddyzilla floating in the water. You wonder who could do something so evil to your favorite Valentine's bear and decide to accuse. Okay, so make a note of that in the lead up. It's short and simple. It's like 3 to 5 sentences. It's not too long, but it gives the details enough that you're interested in it. So the example I've shared is short and sweet. It leads up, and it's prompting it after you wish on the fountain, not after you put in diamonds. So keep note of that. You want it to be after you wish, not after you drop diamonds. So number 2, that's where it leads to next. It's funneling you to the multiple choice section. And this part is the part of the story that must be only a sentence or less long and have 4 choices related to your previous prompt. It could even just be 1 or 2 words. That works just fine as well. So my example in connection with my story: A, Dark Cupid; B, Ash the Butler, aka my favorite butler; C, your evil apartment neighbor; D, the fountain girl. Okay, so you have to have all 4. If you don't have A, B, C, D, then it gets disqualified. So you have to have all 4. Now this is the more complicated part of the story. This is where like your meat of the story is. So this is the result options. So you must include 2 results minimum per letter multiple choice option that you previously wrote. The more details the better, and you can include up to 4 to 5 results per letter maximum. So we don't want more than 5. The ideal text amount per result would be 3 to 6 sentences. So you're going to write results for each one. So A will have its own results, B will have its own results, C will have its own, D will have its own. And remember, for A and for all of them, it needs to at least have 2 results, and they need to be varied options. But the more you do, generally, you're going to have a better chance to win because it showed you put more time into it. And also, your story will just be pretty much ready-made, that I don't have to come up with other story options on top of it, which would take extra time on top of reading these and editing them. So, and putting them into the script that I sent to Barbie. So, the more details, the better. And so, let's see, I already read that part. So, 3 to 6 sentences. If it's less than 3, that's immediate. I'm not going to include it at all. If it's around 6, if it's just barely over, then I might try to squish it down for you. But I would say try to stick to this. If you're just barely over, don't worry. But really try to stick to that amount. But definitely not under 3. You can choose what the result of a story gives or takes away from the player with the options of win diamonds, lose diamonds, nothing occurs, win experience, or win a halo. Remember, you want variety. Only stories with varied results will be considered. So if it's all win, all loss, that's not going to work. Now, it's fine if, say, for A, Dark Cupid, if I put loss, if I had 3 options for this and they were all loss, that would be okay if B has different options. But it doesn't work if they're all the same. You want variety. And it's okay if you write Halo stories too, like a Halo option. So I'm going to show you my examples that I did. Okay, so this is mine. Remember, I put Dark Cupid. So this is just part 1. I'm not going to do it for each one. So for A1, I put win diamonds. So I put, you decide to accuse Dark Cupid, a being you have only heard about in ancient lore through your research. You know that he is Cupid's arch nemesis and use your tracking kit to search for him in Divinia Park. Your kit leads you to a large tree which you examine until you see Dark Cupid shooting black and red arrows at a helpless bacon hare in the distance. You bravely tackle him from behind, loosening his quiver full of arrows from his back and break them in half. Later, Cupid arrives and applauds your work, giving you a large bag of diamonds as a reward. And then I have another option. I have lose diamonds. You pick Dark Cupid to hurl your accusation at, hoping to avenge your dear Teddyzilla friend. You reflect on how cruel he is during the month because of his lack of love and desire for revenge against his arch nemesis Cupid. You wait in the Divinian forest for a while until you spy him hovering over 2 light fairies sitting on a bench with his black and red arrows with malintent. Suddenly, you change your mind from fear that he will retaliate and shoot his arrows of negative energy at you. You instead walk back home in shame, and Karma rears her ugly head as you trip over a rock on the way there, and a few of your diamonds slip out of your pocket. So you don't have to make it as long as mine. That's perfectly fine. But these are just 2 examples that I shared. So remember, that's just for part A. So if this was your story, you would need to at least do that for B, C, and D following this. Now I'm going to show you the rest of the form, and then after that I'm just going to tell you a few more things that I typically look for but are not rules. Okay, you have to put, this is the literal form, remember? So your Roblox username for your badge and prize if you win. Your next, I just added this part. Your Twitter or IG name in case you need to be contacted or want to be tagged in the winner announcement. But you can put NA if not applicable, okay? Because it's going to require you to fill it out. Story lead up, that was the part where it's the introduction, then story multiple choices. In here, remember you could copy and paste, so have your Word doc ready. Story results, minimum of 4 total, and that's where you write all your results in here. So that's basically it. I went over everything. At the times I mentioned, I will post this form link on my Twitter, and I will try to post it on my Linktree and on my Instagram. But also my Instagram has a link to my Twitter, so you could just access it that way too if you don't have Twitter. And so yeah, so that's how you'll find it the easiest. Remember, have it copy and paste ready to go. Do not copy anyone else's work. Some of the special things I look for, I really like funny stories. I like stories that can make me laugh, and I think that will make other players laugh, because I think we all need more laughter right now. Other than that, I kind of like really interesting stories that are like make me think, wow, someone was really creative that they came up with this, or out of the blue. With Valentines, you're gonna have a lot of stories that have the same topic, so in order for yours to stand out, you really want to make it your own, or whether that's coming up with something interesting, a good interesting twist on it, and etc. And one thing that I am partial to, I do like butler stories. That's like, I always enjoy them, but they can't be every story. So usually when I pick the stories, I at least pick like 1 or 2 butler stories, but the rest of the stories are usually going to be other topics, because I try to have a variety. So if all like the stories were all about butlers or all about Valentine's Day cards, I can only pick a few of that type because I want variety. The one last thing that I will say is, if you are unable to make it into the contest because these close so fast, I do apologize for that, but it does take a lot of time to read them. Takes hours, and then it takes a lot of time to edit them and to put them in a script, and I am a working mom, so I don't have time to increase the number that I am allowing to be entered. So I try to keep it at a reasonable amount where I am giving a lot of opportunities, but also I hope that you can understand that that's why there's not more options, and it is going to go fast. So there will be some people who write a story who unfortunately don't get to enter, and I know that makes some people mad, but unfortunately it's just a part of entering a contest when you have a limited time or limited number. And the good thing about it, though, even though that's sad and unfortunate, is that there's always contests. So if you don't make it into this one, I'm not sure if the next one will be St. Patrick's Day or like a spring one, but it'll be one of those. And if you don't make it into this contest, I know that Jam Jam has thumbnail stuff, and sometimes I do caption contests, and there's usually things going around that you can do and be involved in. So don't get down. I know it's upsetting if you aren't able to get in, but just prepare yourself before and be open to other opportunities if this doesn't work out, if you're still really interested. Now, before I go, I do want to show you what the accessory looks like, because I know in the past a lot of people would enter this contest because they love to write, or they wanted to see their name in the game or get the badge. But recently, when we gave a prize, unexpectedly for Christmas, I think it brought a wave of people who may have wanted to do this just for a prize, which it's understandable to want a prize. I'm not saying anything bad, but if that's the case, why you're here and the other things won't satisfy you, I want you to know ahead what you're winning. So I'm going to show you real quick before I go the accessory. Anyways, guys, thanks for staying tuned. Thanks for listening. And good luck. Bye, guys.